Welcome to the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host for the Indiana Basketball Weekly, Mike Goodpaster. Right now I would like to welcome in my co-host. First up, a member of the 1981 National Championships team, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Mike, you don't sound very excited or promising or anything like that. You sound kind of despondent and depressed.
Oh, no, I'm great. It was a great way to spend an early Friday evening. And, of course,
you know what's on next? What? You know what's on now? You know what's on now?
I don't care.
The Grand Tour.
Of what?
The Grand Tour. Collin, you know what the Grand Tour is?
You talking about the race?
No, I'm talking about the old TV show Top Gear.
No, never seen that.
With Jeremy Clarkson, James
you know
May,
what?
and Richard.
I can't even introduce Collin.
It was the number one. It was the number one show on TV in the world.
I've never heard of it.
The number one TV show in the world for BBC.
BBC.
These three idiots that get people to give them Ferraris and Bentleys and Lamborghinis, and they drive around Europe and the United States doing wild car chases. It's funnier than hell. They're comedians. It's the greatest show on earth.
That sounds awesome. And, of course, our other co-host, Big Ten champion with the Indiana Hoosiers. Maybe the last one we'll ever get. Collin Hartman. How you doing, Collin?
So messed up.
That was funny, Mike.
I'm thinking maybe next year we just do an Indiana football show. There's more hope in that now.
Oh, my God.
All right. It's not that bad. Listen, but it's getting there quickly. Michigan 69, Indiana 46. Actually, I think the football game between the two teams was closer. IU shot an amazing 28%. Fell behind 17-0 in the first 7 minutes of the game. Collin, what's your takeaway from this game?
We have no emotion. The guys don't care to win or lose, and it's that simple. The guys just don't care to win or lose, and it doesn't bother anybody to play terrible on national television, and they can't even get up for when you have the number 5 team come into Assembly Hall. I don't know what the crowd was like. I know what it looked like at the end, but I don't know what the crowd. I'm assuming that it was relatively full to start. And it's extremely disheartening, putting it nicely, to have a team that could be very talented, is very talented. They're talented. I don't care what you say, guys, from a skill standpoint.
Oh, yeah, they're extremely
we have good players.
Yeah, you got two guys that are probably going to play in the NBA at some point. And
right.
I don't know.
To some extent, right? And putting it very nicely, it's extremely disheartening to see a team with this much talent play so terrible and have so little emotion.
Yeah, and Steve, I think the best part of the game, to me, I don't know about you, was when it ended.
I think Creighton's got the coolest uniforms I've seen this year. They are pink and white.
I don't think they're normally pink and white.
Well, it's whatever they're doing. It is a cool-looking uniform. They got pink shoes. They're playing Butler at Creighton. And I had to watch this. So I got to watch some kind of decent basketball tonight. Here's the deal. And you know, I'm going to say this. Please don't take it anybody wrong, anybody else that listens to this. We are not connecting with our coaching staff. And right now, this whole thing is probably 51% coaching right now. And here's why I say this. This team doesn't come out with any fire. I mean, it doesn't come out with any motivation. It gets down 17-0. It tries to sustain itself in the game by doing the one thing it can't do. And what is that? Shoot three-pointers. I think 4 of the first 5 shots we took from the field were three-pointers. And it's like, that's not our forte. We shouldn't even be going there. And that's coaching. I mean, if you can't wrangle your players into doing what you want to do, that becomes coaching. And here's why I say that, because we come out the start of the second half, and what do? We start dribble drive penetrating. We start going to the hole. We start feeding it inside, and we make a run, and we get the game down to what? Single digits, 8, 9 points, I think. and we outscore them we go on like an 8-0 run right at the beginning of the second half. Did we not?
Yeah.
We went back to what we do best. Yeah, it's what we do best. We penetrate. We got on the foul line because we can't hit free throws, but we got to the foul line, and we did the things that brought Indiana to a 12-3 record at one point instead of a 12-7 record or wherever we are now. And 12-8, yeah, 12-8, and we've just totally gotten away. But I'm saying right now, and I don't think Archie Miller's a bad coach. I just don't know what he's not seeing, what he's seeing that the rest of the world's not seeing. I wrote down 3 Ps. We don't penetrate enough. We don't get in the passing lanes enough, and we're just willing to pass up penetration to try and pump the threes. And we're not a good three-point shooting team. I don't understand why the coach is continuing to let this go. What happened to Clifton Moore? What happened to him? He didn't even play today.
I don't know.
They had 3 sub. I mean, the kid comes out and shows some kind of effort in the last game, and he gets no minutes in this game.
Well, he's shown some effort when he's come in every game he's come in. So maybe he's just not a really good practice player, Steve. And, if you can't play in practice, you can't play in the games. I mean, just to me, to say it's 51% coaching is horseshit. I think it's 100% coaching. I hate to say that, but when you sit there and we all agree that this is a talented team and they play stupid and they play lazy, at some point, can't Romeo Langford sit down and maybe give somebody else a try? I mean, right now, the only thing he's
Romeo
doing...
Langford sat himself down. He sat himself down by having 3 fouls in the first 10 minutes of the first half.
But my point
is
he
saw the coaching needs and, Coach not going to sit me down. I got to sit myself down. I'm going to get 3 fouls and sit myself down.
The point is this. No matter how good a player he is, he's still a freshman, and he's playing terrible.
Right.
And it's just kind of steamrolling on him. At some point, maybe it would be better.
He's not being coached, Mike.
I know, because if you were being coached and you're playing that bad, Collin, at some point, the coach sits you down and explains life to you, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I know. Watch your behind the bench tickets. So be careful. You be careful.
No, I'm honest to God. I mean, if you start out on the other team gets a 17-0 run, you would think that at some point there would be some drastic measure taken. And I mean, I think I can speak on behalf of all of Hoosier alumni and whoever, all IU basketball fans, is we want to see somebody get mad about something. Coach Miller was livid today, but he never crossed the line. Because I know he's livid. I know he is. You can see it in his face. He's sweating like crazy. But he needs to cross that line.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to do it. If he hasn't done it by now, I mean, what the hell does it take? I mean, when this game goes to 10-0 or 12-0, the out-of-bounds play that was clearly IU's ball that they gave to Michigan, he should have lost his shit right then. They should have carried him out of there in a straitjacket.
He's fully capable. He's fully capable. I've seen him lose his mind in practice. He's fully capable. I want him to. I think that it would breathe more life into these players. Because right now, these guys, and I love all these guys. I do. I know all of them. But I would say all this to their face. I've played the game. I know what it takes to win. A lot of these guys, Jawan knows what it takes to win. Zach, guys have been there. Guys have won. They were there my junior year and Yogi's senior year when we got to the Sweet 16 and won the Big Ten championship and stuff like that. So know what it looks like. There's nothing resembling what a winning team looks like. I'm questioning Jawan's leadership right now.
Well,
because
there's
at some
no
point,
leadership.
Well, Jawan has no leader. Jawan has no leadership. I mean, he's not a leader. He's just not his stuff. He's just not a leader, Collin. He's just not a leader.
And
he's a statistical leader, but that's okay. Yeah, he's not a leader.
That's going to be the problem. I said that at the beginning of the season. That's going to be the problem. I don't care if you have, because you guys were talking about how it's going to be guys are just scoring points. Those are your leaders, whoever your best players are. No, your leaders are going to be dudes who talk and show emotion and bring guys with them. And nobody's doing that right now. And that was my fear at the beginning of the year, is because the guys who were dubbed leaders, quote-unquote leaders, Romeo, by his scoring, in the early season, Juwan and Zach, neither one of those guys are super vocal. And as a leader on the floor and in the locker room and off the court, on the court, whatever it may be, you have to have somebody that's vocal. And they don't have to be your most talented player.
But don't you have to kind of recruit that at some point?
Well, yes and no. The reason I say yes and no is because if somebody wants to get to that next level, they have to have that to a certain extent. They have to have something that's going to set them apart.
That's not something I think that just you have to have a Scott Skiles. Scotty Skiles comes to my mind right now as somebody just a
Scott
vocal
Skiles
leader.
In Plymouth, you knew he was going to be a leader.
Would get in your face.
State.
Yeah, he was a natural leader that comes in and will get in your face. Isaiah Thomas was a natural leader. He got in our face.
So
when I'm a junior and he's a freshman, he's in my crap right off the bat. I mean, I'm like looking at him the first time, like, shut up, you little punk. And he got back in my face and said, no, you're the punk. You're not doing what you need to be doing to help this team win. And he was right. Creighton's got great uniforms. Jeez, they're cool looking. This team doesn't have it. I'm absolutely befuddled at how a team that's in the hole that Indiana's in comes out and plays so flat at the start of the biggest game on a national TV audience and just gets 17-0. And then the first 4 points they score are on free throws. They're not even buckets. I mean, that's coaching. If you can't get your team motivated to come out and defend in your own house in front of a sold-out crowd, coming down to Bloomington to watch this team play, I'm sorry. I really am not hammering Archie Miller. I'm hammering his coaching. And right now, maybe he's on the biggest learning curve of anybody on that basketball team right now. I mean, I've seen one player kind of get better, and that's Justin Smith. Other than that, I have not seen improvement. I mean, really, Juwan's playing at the same level he's always played at. Great. He's not gotten any better. He's getting hampered by the fact that nobody else is doing anything else, and they're just packing it in on us. We refuse to play perimeter defense. We were giving up so many easy three-pointers, and we come down and we work our butt off, and we finally hit a three-pointer. They come down nonchalantly, and we just pack it in and get inside the arc, and boys come down and say, okay, I'll take this three. Boom. All the 3 points we just made up are just gone again, but we take 39 seconds to get. They do it in 3 seconds. It's not there. This is becoming a coaching issue in my eyes. Because I saw them start the first and second half. They look good. I thought, okay, this is good. We're penetrating. We're going to the hole. We're getting buckets. We're creating, we're breaking down their defense. And then we just stopped doing it and went back to trying to shoot threes again. And there you go. An 8-point leader, a 9-point deficit, went back to a 20-point deficit real quickly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody else jump in here. Don't let me do all the talking. I mean, turnovers. I'm looking at our stats. We only had 9 turnovers, which isn't bad.
If you
we got killed on we got beat on the boards.
Not how much did we get beat on the boards by?
44 to 39. Not horribly bad. Not horribly bad.
The stat line's not terribly different. The biggest.
They only had 6 offensive rebounds. We had 11 offensive rebounds.
The biggest stat that's different is they had a lot more assists than we did, and they shot the ball a lot better because we can't shoot. That's how far and away. That's how much of a difference and how bad our shooting is. Because stat line across the board, just look at the stat line. You don't watch the game. You would have thought it was a relatively close game, other than if you do not look at the 3-point or the shooting field goal percentage or the free throw percentage.
Yeah, but we kind of got to look at those
it's
when
not
we
that
look
far
today.
away.
I mean, it's just
27% from
2
points,
that's how
15%
glaring how
from
bad
3.
we can't score.
Yeah, and why he continues to play guys that have proven that they're not going to even look to score, like a McRoberts, like a Pfister. Those guys aren't even looking to score.
Official
I mean,
look to
you know,
it, he just
McRoberts.
has no confidence he's going to make it.
Here's McRoberts. Shooting 0 for 0, 2 points. The idiot didn't even take a shot. He's a starting forward in the Big Ten and does not even put a shot up. Now, what kind of a player is going to make that? He got 1 offensive rebound, 1 defensive rebound, no assists, no steals,
What's his
no
plus
blocks.
minus? I'd be curious.
What's a plus minus?
You don't know his plus minus? It's not on the stat sheet.
No, I don't see it on
Plus
here. What's
minus
plus?
is
What are you talking about?
Plus minus is basically the difference between the score while you're in. Majority of the guys.
Well,
I don't
it's,
know. Yeah,
it's not good
on
for
the stat
anybody
sheet.
that started tonight, I can tell you that.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah,
Zach's plus
mean,
minus is negative 20.
Oh, shit. That's
negative
pretty good.
20.
Justin
So you're looking at a
Smith
different
is
stat sheet
negative-
than I am. Yeah.
Justin Smith is negative 26.
Damn.
Romeo Langford, negative 25. Juwan Morgan, negative 18. Rob Finney, negative 16. The lowest plus minus,
Okay.
or the best plus minus,
Would be
Al
Juwan
Durham
Morgan.
Al Durham played 32 minutes. He was only minus 10.
Yeah, he was terrible, but he was probably the guy that looked like he was giving the most effort on the
I mean, in
floor.
the first half, he was our first, 4 points? And that's, 4 points doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're speaking about how many points we scored total in the first half, it's a lot.
Yeah.
What we have is
He started going to the
18
hole.
points, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had,
We had 18
33
points in
18
the
or
first
something like
half.
that.
Yeah. I don't
So-
know. I don't know. This team is really heading to the NIT right now.
No,
unless they
right
can turn
now
things
they're
around.
headed to the same place they were last year.
Yeah, home watching everything happen.
The thing I saw about the team calling on last year was this. I think especially the last half of the season, I thought they were better than the start of the season. I thought they gave effort. They were just missing a few parts. Unfortunately, they never got replacements for the parts they never got originals for the parts they needed, and the parts they lost player-wise, whether it was Johnson, Newkirk, Collin, they didn't replace those guys. I think last year's team, if they played this year's team, they would beat this year's team.
We
Because
beat
they
them
would care
strictly
more.
because we played harder.
Yeah, they care. You guys cared more. I don't
weren't as
think
talented.
after halfway through the season, I don't think there was an ever question where either one of us, Steve, questioned the effort on the team. We just questioned how well they were playing. And once again, that would go to coaching.
Yeah, I don't like to rip into a coach. that's
Wait a
early
second.
in his career.
Steve. We have wasted 12 hours, as of all Hoosier fans, watching 6 straight losses. I don't think there's a reason to apologize for anything you say. The only thing you would have to apologize if you sat here and became an apologist for the coaching staff. We would look like complete idiots if we sat here and tried to say, well, we see this, and it looks like he's doing a good job coaching them. The players just aren't getting the job done, because that's not true. The players aren't getting the job done, but when you have effort that is lacking, that's completely on the head coach. There's no reason to apologize for it because he's making $5 million to get that effort. 18,000 people went out in cold-ass weather today, drove however far it was to watch this team play, and they were not prepared to play. What we saw tonight is this. Other game, and in it was 6 losses. There was only one game, and that was the Maryland game, where I thought this team could have won that game. Maybe Northwestern, but the other 4 games were ass-kickings. And I hate to tell people this, but John Beilein, if he's not the best coach in the country, is one of the best coaches in the country. And he completely out-prepared Archie Miller, and he completely out-coached him during the game. And I've seen John Beilein. I saw it against Minnesota where he lost his crap and went off in his team in a huddle. We don't see that with Archie. They didn't show, I think, any huddles tonight where we could hear Archie say, well, if we could get it down to 19 and then to 18 and then to 17, we could still win the game, guys. And he may be all pissed off inside, but if he doesn't communicate that,
he needs to lose his mind.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't. He let it out. What, for our benefit, for my benefit? I don't care. I mean,
no, for the
I don't
team's
care.
benefit.
What, right. So it doesn't necessarily have to be on TV that he does that. If he's doing it in practice, again, I've never been to an Archie Miller practice. I've never spoken to Archie Miller personally. I don't know what he does or how he conducts himself in practice. Collin has to address
let's hope
that.
to God that he doesn't do it at practice. And the reason I say that is because if he does it in practice, it has absolutely no effect. And if that's the case, Steve Alford's
and I think there's a certain, and I don't disagree with you guys. There's a certain level, as a player that a coach can only say so much, and then it gets redundant. It gets exhausting. But if you, as a player, if you don't take it and embrace it and want to do it, they can only say so much.
See, Collin, there's 7 other guys on that bench, though, and there's 4 or 5 that never get to play. Then you play them until you get somebody's attention.
Yeah.
All right. Two things here. First off, Collin, and I think you can address this too. If your player doesn't get pissed off at himself for what's going on,
right?
Sometimes the coach can't do anything about it. If a player somewhere, these guys have got to get pissed off themselves.
Right.
It's like, I am stinking this place up. Have some pride in what you're doing. You're wearing the greatest uniform to wear in the state of Indiana. You're playing in the greatest arena to play in other than Hinkle. And somebody Hall is as iconic as Hinkle. It's a different mentality. You're staring at 5 banners, umpteen Big Ten. You have no pride in what you're doing. It's got to fall upon the players too. So I can't just dump it all on Archie, because I don't see anything from the players. It's like, when do they get pissed off?
You can only, like I said, only say so much.
Yeah, you can only sometimes. The players are not responding to whatever he is or isn't saying. They're not taking it to heart, and they're just showing up and going through the motions. It's like, I almost feel like the players are pretty much just written this season off. Romeo's thinking about getting an agent. Juwan's just trying to get through it and trying to move up the scoring list. And I don't think Juwan's that way
did Romeo
at all.
have
I think Juwan. What?
How many points did Romeo have tonight?
He had 9.
He had 9 total. I don't know when most of them he scored in the second half. Most of them he scored right in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
I'd like
he went
to
to the
see
whole heart a couple
his
times.
average of this losing streak. I'd like to see his average.
Well, I know the last 2 games have been single digits, and the other thing I know is
single digits, yeah.
And the other thing that I know is, if this continues, he may be here another year, because
I'm saying he's not going to be able to look for an agent.
No, the way he is playing. Archie Miller is supposed to be the head coach of this team, and he's supposed to make these guys better. Is there any of us here that believe you could bring Marquette or Butler into Assembly Hall and have the same result we had 4 or 5 weeks ago? No. Because Marquette's going to come in here now and beat us by 30. Butler's going to come in and beat us by 10 or 15, because their teams have gotten better. And I'm sorry, you could say, I've never coached a team that for more than a game gave an effort like that. I've never seen a really good coach that's had a team quit on him for 6 straight games. It just doesn't happen, because it's not allowed. You change something, you do something, even if it's drastic. And maybe we were spoiled when we were younger because of Knight. And I don't know. It's just, I've never seen this with Indiana basketball. Now, I'll give you this. From 2002, or 2001, whenever it was that they fired Knight, I was a Texas Tech fan. I didn't watch Indiana basketball, because the times I tried to watch Indiana basketball, to tell you the truth, from Knight leaving to now, outside of an Indiana-Kentucky game and a few of the games, Collin, when you were, I think, a junior, I saw a few of those games. what I've seen is basically this. I mean, this is not Indiana basketball. I mean, Indiana basketball used to be something that was special. And it was something that, I mean, when you played, Steve, you would never, and it wasn't just because of night. It's because it was special to be an Indiana Hoosier, especially if you were from Indiana. And it's just not anymore. And I don't know what the reason for that is. But the only thing I can see here is the coaching that's been here from 2000 on up. Now, I'll give Tom Crean a pass because I think Tom Crean, if I remember right, made a few Sweet 16s, won well over 20 games, probably 2 or 3 times. So all the IU fans that wanted to bitch about Tom Crean, that's great. But we're not getting anything better, and actually so far it's been worse. I was a defender of Archie Miller. I thought he was a good choice as the head coach. I didn't think he was the best choice as the head coach, but I thought it was a good choice. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not going to give up on the team because that is still my team, but it's just disheartening to see players that care less than the people sitting in the stands.
Yeah, Colin, have you I think you followed basketball, IU basketball most of your life, and I've done it, since 1975, 74, when I first started remembering. I don't know that I've ever seen a team regress this badly this late in the season. Not an IU basketball team, not even under any of the coaches who've been there since night. I've not seen them regress this badly. We're not competitive.
No.
I mean, when you get down 17-0 on your own home court in Assembly Hall with 18,000 Hoosier fans sitting there cheering you on, and you're down, you're not competitive. I mean, we were out of the game at the first TV timeout with 14:55 to go. It was 17-2. I think we'd hit 2 free throws or something like that. We're not even competitive anymore.
Yeah, and the place looked pretty much packed, Colin. And the place looked like the fans were excited and ready to go.
Yeah.
So if they would have come out and done anything early on.
Anything would have happened. I mean, we made 2 free throws and they almost lost their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Did
you see the start of the second half? When we make the run and start the second half, the whole place is standing on its feet. Everybody in the whole front row and is standing up. All the kids are all there in the student section are cheering, going nuts, and the place is raucous and loud. And because we cut a 15-point lead down to a 9-point lead for them. Not like we've taken the lead and gotten back into the game. We just got it back to single digits, and we're going nuts over that. I mean, this is a crowd in a fan base that's killing for something to cheer for. They're begging for something to cheer for right now. And, I can buy I'm sure in my career, as good as our teams were, we had 1, 2, or 3 game losing streaks, but I don't know that I ever lived through it. We wouldn't live through a 6-game losing streak. We would have all been playing ball at the Hyper. and we'd have been sitting on the bench watching the last 5 guys, watching Lefebvre and Boucher and Grunwald and all those guys playing, and the rest of us would have been just sitting there told to cheer them on.
Griswold.
Griswold, Clark.
Yeah, Clark Griswold would be playing before Steve if they'd lost games like this.
But I mean, it's just it's like we were thinking about doing the show. I'm like, what the hell can I come up with positives? Because I'm trying to be a results-oriented person. So, Colin, let me ask you this, and Mike, jump in. Did anybody see anything that can fix this?
No.
Does anybody have any idea? I'm really kind of at a loss.
You know what?
Well,
I would rather sit in Archie's press conference and ask the guy that gets paid $5 million a year to do this. Is there anything you can do? That's the question. I mean, I don't know.
Well, the question is not, is there anything you can do? The question is, what are you going to do that you're not doing now? Because what you're doing now isn't working. You've proven that now over 6 games, that what you're doing right now is not in any way, shape, or form. We are continuing to get beat worse and worse every game we play. And now what do? We travel to Rutgers? We go to Rutgers now?
Yeah, who beat Nebraska at Rutgers the other night.
Rutgers
right.
is not
and,
an easy place to win.
should. No, it's not an easy place to win. It's East Coast. The fans out there are idiots.
Especially if you start off down
and they're
17-0.
Well, they're smelling blood. They're thinking, hey, this is a win, another Big Ten win for
I'm
us.
about to get another dub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to get another dub. Indiana's coming in. They're riding a 6-game losing streak and can't beat themselves.
Purdue's Rutgers' last 3 home games, they beat Ohio State. They lost a close game to Northwestern, and they beat Nebraska.
Great, and we've got dumped by 2 of those 3 teams.
Yeah, and we got embarrassed by Nebraska, basically, at home. And the
only reason we haven't gotten beat by Ohio State yet is we haven't played them.
Yeah.
We haven't played them yet. I don't know. I mean, does anybody have any ideas? Let's try and end this thing on a positive note here. Do you see anything, Collin, that I mean, I think he's got to take some drastic measures here.
Yeah, I think somebody, somebody, whether it's Coach Miller or somebody, has to wake up and tomorrow morning and grab everybody by the throat in the locker room.
There you go.
Collin,
That'll get him fired.
Collin, were all these assistant coaches there last year when you were there?
Yeah.
What's the take on the assistant coaches? Because I'm not seeing anything out of these guys at all. I mean, I don't know what the rule is where they can stand up and coach it. I don't know what the rule changes have been now. But you can sit there and bark stuff out.
The refs always do run by, sit down. But the other teams do it.
Well, even so, you can sit there and, I mean, why are the assistant coaches not coaching players? Why are they not? I mean, I understand that Miller wants to coach the game. I get that. Knight did that. Knight coached the game. But Knight had 5 assistants or 4 assistants, however many you could have, and they were coaching individual players. They were coaching positions. They were calling out ball screens. They were calling out get in the passing lanes. They were calling out block out. They were talking Risley, get your ass on a body. And they were coaching me. The assistant coaches were coaching the players and firing me up or motivating me or getting on my nerves to where I finally got pissed off and said, okay, whoever's coming near me now is going to get the crap knocked out of them because I'm tired of getting yelled at. That's how it was for me. I just got sick and tired of getting screamed at. I'm like, I'm just going to punk somebody, so stop yelling at me. Because I'm not enjoying getting yelled at. I don't see anybody yelling at the players, screaming at the players, and motivating. I use the word screaming and yelling. They're not motivating the players. However, if he wants to candy-ass motivate them and tell them, I used to tell my reps, look, I don't care. When I was a sales manager at Pfizer, if you want me to wake up every morning and get in the car with you at 6:30 in the morning and start making calls, you want me to tell you you're the best sales rep I've ever had in my life, if that's going to motivate you to go sell, I'll do that. No problem. I will come in with a page full of notes saying why you are the best sales rep in the world. If that's going to motivate you to go out and get business and get results, that's what I'll do for you. Because that's what a coach does. A coach finds each individual player, finds out what their motivators are, what drives them, how do they like to receive information, and he delivers that information in the way that they like to receive information. I don't see any information being traveled or transmitted by this coaching staff in any degree. For Miller to not get a technical foul, just get a technical foul to show your players you give a damn. I can't tell you the number of times Knight did that. Knight got a technical not for the benefit of making the call. He got a technical for the benefit of making us see he was working harder than we were. And that just fired all of us up. And if coach is working that hard, because the team plays as the coach coaches. Does anybody not believe that? Mike, you're a coach. Do you not believe that theory?
I believe that. I've told you a million times.
Collin, do you not believe that theory? The team plays as the coach coaches.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, there's your answer right there.
The players reflect
what the coach is coaching.
They reflect the coach's leadership.
Right.
They reflect the coach's toughness.
Right.
And those are the 2 things we lack. So you can put 2 and 2 together and come out with whatever you want there.
God, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this because it's a bullshit thing to say. But I used to be so against a former IU player coming back and coaching Indiana basketball. But I'm telling you right now, it's almost the way a Knight player coming back.
Don't you dare say Steve Alford.
No, I'm not going to say Steve Alford. But I'm talking about somebody who spent time with Knight and understands the methodology and can modernize Knight's methodology into today's world and can coach these kids and know how to deliver information based on how kids want to receive it and how to motivate kids and do that. I hate saying that because I've always been a big proponent of not ever, you got to bury the Knight era. You got to move on. But we've tried this since 2001. It has not worked.
Well,
it just has not worked.
I can say this. This is Archie Miller's second year. There are still, 12 games left in this season. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's salvageable. It's still salvageable,
yeah. I mean, you beat Rutgers and go beat Michigan State at Michigan State. That's salvageable, whatever. And then you got number 19 Iowa, and then Ohio State, and then you're at Minnesota. Then you got Purdue, and then you got Iowa again. And
you got a bunch of home games. You got a bunch of home games, but
shit.
We're proving it doesn't
matter.
I thought
this was a home game. I thought Nebraska was a home game.
Nebraska was a home game. I know. I'm thinking, why did I just say that? Because it doesn't matter. They play anywhere. They're a neutral court team. They're equal opportunists. They get beat as bad at home as they do on the road. I don't know.
I'm just glad we're not hosting.
I don't say. Statistically wise, you shoot 27%, you're going to get beat. You shoot 15%, 3 of 20 from the 3-point line. Quit shooting 3-pointers. This team's not a good three. Stop it.
Yeah.
The only bright spot in this game was the first 5 minutes of the second half when we started dribble drive penetrating, getting the ball inside. We dumped it in. We got Juwan free. We got him going. Langford started making some penetrating moves. Everybody started getting in, Smith started penetrating, and we cut the lead in half. And then we went away from it. And, I don't know.
Collin, you got anything else?
Collin, you got anything else to add?
No, I've said my piece for tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I figured it showed about 10 minutes, but...
Yeah, we went 20.
I just need to see guys have some pride. I don't care if you foul out. I don't care.
That's just right, Collin.
Play balls to the wall. I don't care what you do. Just play hard.
Play hard.
Win another game.
I just get tired of seeing other teams' players diving for the ball. Ours will dive for it, but theirs comes up with it.
Yeah, we dove for a loose
ball. Roberts
dove for a loose ball.
Because they have 3 or 4 guys on the floor. We have 1, maybe 2 at most.
I brought that up.
The one player reminds me of.
I mean, it happened all the time.
Big Roberts dives for a loose ball. Big Roberts dives for a loose ball about center court. He makes a great effort, dives for it. There's 3 Michigan players around. He gets knocked around by a couple of Michigan players diving with him. The ball goes loose. Michigan player picks it up and drills a 3.
Yeah. And ours are standing around watching.
We got 4 other guys standing around. Where are they on the perimeter defense? I'm telling you, this is not a good defensive basketball team. And for Archie Miller to claim to be a great defensive coach, horse pucky. This team cannot play defense. They don't help out at all. They don't cut off passing lanes. How many times did I see guys get beat on the baseline? Do you understand the baseline is a 6 defensive player you have? You understand you can't dribble the ball out of bounds.
And
so
I'll
that's
still
the
go back to the same thing.
Force them to go. Force them to go to the baseline. Force them there, and then just step out of bounds. All you got to do is put 1 foot out of bounds. They can't get around you legally.
But
that's all
it's worth.
We worked on that every day in practice.
Steve,
I'm getting frustrated.
That our biggest complaint is that we don't see the effort. There's not going to be any defense then. You can't have defense without effort.
You're right.
I mean, defense, 90% of that is effort. But, all right, we actually ended up 40 minutes, Steve. Damn.
Yeah, I don't mind getting beat if we're getting beat, but I hate losing. And right now we're just losing. If we get beat by a better team and we're playing hard, I'm okay with that. I mean, sometimes talent wins and coaching wins, but right now we're just freaking losing.
Yeah. So
there's a world of difference there, right, Collin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Wednesday night.
I mean,
go ahead.
We don't even put ourselves in At the beginning of the year, we at least put ourselves. We played just good enough to put ourselves in a 50-50 chance to win or lose at the beginning of the year. Now we put ourselves in zero chance to win the game. Zero.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can you start off down 10-0, 12-0, 17-0? You can't be successful that way.
Not when you can't hit 3-pointers. You can't work yourself back in the game. You can't cut off passing lanes. You can't cut off driving lanes. Yeah.
You're not coming back 17-0 against Michigan, no matter who the hell you are.
Well,
we got it to 9. We got it to 9 doing the fundamental things that I think Indiana does best.
That's the problem.
We got it to 9. If we just stayed with that program.
When you get it to 9 from 17,
and that's coaching.
When you get it from 9 to 7, or from 17 to 9, it takes a lot out of you to do that. And it's really a lot to ask because Michigan plays defense. And if you get down double digits to Michigan, I don't care if you're Duke. Duke's going to have a hard time coming back from that against Michigan because the thing about Michigan is even when they go cold, the way they play defense, you're not going to all of a sudden get hot and make a 15-0 run. You got to chip away at them, and to chip away at them, you got to have some heart. Indiana doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same point. But they showed some heart in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Wow. So
that encourages me. That they can do it.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're being coached to do it right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have the heart to do it themselves. Well,
let's get off here and we'll all watch Archie's press conference. We will be back Wednesday night with a hopefully more upbeat Indiana Basketball Weekly show as Indiana will go to New Jersey to play at Rutgers. Now, why Rutgers is in the Big Ten could be a whole nother story. But, Collin, do you have anything else?
Well, they're in the Big Ten because the Big Ten wanted to capture the New York market.
Hey, Steve.
They wanted to get a team on the East Coast and the New York City market. Basically, Rutgers is across the river from New York City.
Steve?
So they wanted to capture that TV audience. Again, it's what it's all about now. It's about marketing.
Steve, I asked Collin if he had anything else. Earlier in the show, you asked if you were the only one that was going to have to talk. But yet, you interrupted Collin once again. Collin, do you have anything else?
You know why, Mike? Because I'm freaking passionate about this.
Okay. Well, Collin, would you like to say something to finish the show up?
I think I did, but I forgot.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. Steve,
say what you want to. Yeah, that's my banner up there that's being desecrated right now.
You know what? Right now, the entire state of Indiana is being desecrated.
Well, one of those 5 banners hanging up there is one of mine. And it's being desecrated by a lack of effort on the coaching staff and on the players. Not on talent, but by a lack of effort and willingness to understand what it means to be an Indiana basketball player.
Now, here's the question. Has anybody heard an update on when Devontae Green may come back?
Yeah, what's the story with Devontae? Collin, what's the deal?
No clue.
Because I haven't heard
game today
anything about it.
Was he even at the game?
I didn't even look on. I don't know. I didn't even look at the bench.
Yeah,
I tried to look, but I couldn't. There was guys sitting at the end in black suits or sweatsuits or whatever. I don't know, but there were guys that were not dressed.
Well, I will tell you this. I think with the way this team plays, if Devontae Green was to come back and play another game, that would be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do I say that?
Yeah, why do you say that?
He has completely proven he doesn't give a shit. If the rumors are true and he did that, why do you want him on the team? This is what I want on my team. And this used to drive people nuts, but even I was coaching high school football in the early 2000s. And I'd walk in, if it's a new team, they all sit in front of me. Everybody with an earring's got to take it out. Why? I don't really care if you wear an earring or not. I think it's stupid. But if you're not willing to give up something for your brothers whose back you're supposed to have, I don't want you on my team. And if he did something, they're getting ready to play one of the biggest games of the year, the last game they played. They're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. And he doesn't care enough to give up something for his teammates. To me, I don't care. I think weed should be legal. I don't really care. But you know what? When you're told you can't do something, you do it anyways, and you cost your team. Why do you want that back, Steve?
Well, before I pass judgment on him, I got to figure out. I got to know why he's been suspended. I mean, we had the speculation.
I don't care
what
the reason
is, but
I really don't care.
Well,
I
don't.
Don't care. I mean, I may be wrong here, but as a coach, if I'm going to suspend a guy indefinitely, I'm going to get rid of him.
Maybe hopefully he cussed Archie Miller out in practice. And Miller said, "I'm not having any of that. You're not the boss of this team."
There's no showing of emotion here, Devontae. You know that. All right.
I don't know.
So
all right, guys.
I will give there is one reason I would like
my whole mission right now for the rest of the season is protect Collin's seats behind the bench for at least a few more years.
Why would
Colin
want to go
enjoy
watch
it while
this?
you can, Colin, because eventually you'll be moved. You'll eventually be moved over by the band where I sit.
Oh God!
And stare at one of my banners.
So do you think Isaiah Thomas
my
has
NIT
to
banner
sit
or my
behind the
NCAA
band?
banner?
Does Isaiah have to sit behind the band if he goes to an IU game?
No, Isaiah doesn't. No, Isaiah doesn't sit behind the bench or behind the band. He sits behind the bench.
So what I'm saying is this. Isaiah was a popular player. Collin was a popular player. I think Collin's safe behind the bench. I don't think he's ever going to be stuck with the band like some people are.
No, what you realize eventually that stuff comes down to where you fit on the scoring record, and Collin still is below me on the all-time career scoring records.
Yeah, that's still hard to believe.
So he'll eventually get over there.
Okay.
Matt Nover sits behind the bench all the time.
There you go. Because everybody loved Matt Nover
does.
He worked his ass off.
I saw Brian Evans. Brian Evans and Andre Patterson were there tonight. They were sitting behind the bench. So maybe it's different with Archie.
Maybe it's just you.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's me doing this show. Who knows?
Like Steve and Chuck Franz are sitting back behind the band.
No, Chuck Franz has his own season tickets because he works for Cook. He's got season tickets on the front row on the other side. I've tried to borrow his tickets before, and he told me to screw off.
All right, guys.
Oh, well.
We're going to wrap this up. We will be back Wednesday night after the Indiana-Rutgers game. Make sure you follow Steve on Twitter at @Risley34, Collin Hartman at Collin Hartman30, The Grueling Truth at The Grueling Truth. And you can hear all The Grueling Truth shows on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Collin Hartman, Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth.
Mike. Mike.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to add. Go ahead and close it out.
All right.
Close it out, Mike.
Where, for the most part.
I just wanted you to know I wasn't going to ask any more questions tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are now signing off. Myself, Collin Hartman, and that asshole.